New York Giants Sports Talk and Entertainment. Oh boy, we had some fun yesterday. I have some of the greatest subscribers because they just come up with some of the shit that just makes me laugh. When we were talking about my intro being whack the other day, I was getting phrases from the 90s that just killed me. And just in the early 2000s, it just made me laugh and smile. One of my favorite ones was "Word to Big Bird," and we've all know it. We all did it. Get jiggy with it. I love those two. Those were just, oh my God, those just killed me. I mean, they get jiggy with it, man. I was like, oh my God. And I've been saying "Word for Big Bird" now all day since yesterday because I record this early in the morning usually. Oh my goodness gracious. But let's get into the New York Football Giants. And I wanted to talk about Daniel Jones briefly because I saw these posts on Instagram and Twitter, the new statistics for Daniel Jones, and I'm going to read what it says. Daniel Jones is seventh on the on-target throw list at 76%, and is tied for fifth in drops with 13. He's pressured at the highest rate in the NFL right now at 29.2%. I love it, and we've had the same conversation. All the Daniel Jones apologists are probably all the Eli haters. Because you could probably go back and find statistics that prove that Eli Manning, his last 3 years, was the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. And my problem with all this is most people don't, well, I shouldn't say most people. A lot of people don't understand that you can find statistics for anything. You can make up statistics for anything. I mean, 80% of the fans probably can tell you that 50% of the time stats are only 30% correct. Ching. I'll be here all week, folks. Oh, my goodness gracious. You can find stats for everything. And you know what? And I've said this before. And a subscriber said it best. Two subscribers said it best. It's okay if Daniel Jones isn't the franchise quarterback. It happens. It really does. You miss more than you are going to hit when trying to find a franchise quarterback. We have just been lucky in our Giants history, even going back to, we won't go too far back, but going back to Phil Simms. Then after we had Phil Simms, we had we were kind of in quarterback purgatory until we hit on Kerry Collins. And then we, got lucky again with Eli Manning. But even if you want to go back further, we had Chuck and Charlie Connolly. You are going to hit less than you're going to miss more than you're going to hit. That's just the way it is in the NFL. If you take a look at the starting list of quarterbacks in the NFL right now, I mean, you figure, of course, Tom Brady was selected 199th. Russell Wilson was 75th. Jimmy Garoppolo was 62. Drew Brees was selected 32nd. And Kirk Cousins was 102nd. Derek Carr, 36th. Gardner Minshew, 178th. Even Aaron Rodgers was 24th overall. Drew Lock, 42nd. Andy Dalton, 35th. Nick Foles, 88. Teddy Bridgewater, 32nd. Lamar Jackson, 32nd. So you have a lot of I forgot Kyle Allen. He went undrafted. So you know what? You're not always going to find your quarterback in the first round or early in the first round. Yes, there'll be guys that you find, like Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford, and guys, Carson Wentz, who went in the first, Cam Newton, who went first overall or second or in the top 15. But you also got to know you got a lot of guys that are just not going to cut it from whatever reason or another. Sam Darnold could be a great quarterback. We don't know. Who knows? But he's in that purgatory right now known as the Jets. The jury's still out on Baker Mayfield. Same with Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen looks like at times he's the world beater, and it looks like at times he's couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a tractor. Ryan Tannehill, who starts for Tennessee, how did his career go before he had a resurrection in Tennessee? Yeah, he was selected 8th overall, but he was a reach. And again, a subscriber said it. I don't want to keep bringing up all these subscribers, but one subscriber said it best. Bad teams reach for quarterbacks. And they reach for quarterbacks because they think they're going to progress into something. And there has been a lineage of quarterbacks that bad teams reached for that never panned out. I mean, you take a look at the Bengals. With they had 2 misses in a row with David Klinger and Akiwi Smith because they thought they saw something that no one else did, and they went against the grain and they reached for a bad quarterback. I am not saying Daniel Jones is a reach. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is a bad quarterback. I am just saying that you need to be comfortable with your decision. You need to live with your decision. And hopefully Dave Gettleman made the right choice. But to sit there and try to pull statistics out of the air just to make you feel better about the quarterback, I don't know what to tell you about that. I really don't. I mean, I was an Eli Manning fan, but I was never an Eli Manning apologist. I understood that Eli Manning was a quarterback with warts, but also a lot of his issues, especially early in his career, can be contributed to Kevin Gilbride, because Kevin Gilbride really told him, really put him into the gunslinger mentality. There, like I said, there were design plays for Eli, especially in the first couple of years, where it was just throw it to the spot. Let your receiver go down the field 50 yards, 40 yards, whatever, and just throw it to a spot. And a lot of times you do that, bad things happen. A lot of times replays, bad things happen. But we all just need to be prepared for the fact that if Daniel Jones is not the guy, it's not the end of the world. We just move on. We keep looking. I mean, after the Kent Cram, Danny Cannell, Dave Brown fiascos, I mean, you should go back in the Giant history and just look. Scott Bruner. You just go look at the lineages of quarterbacks that the Giants started. Joe Pisarcik, that didn't turn out to anything. Danny Cannell and Kent Graham set us back that 1 year because they played well enough for Dan Reeves that they decided not to look for a quarterback the next year. And that set the franchise back a little bit. Also for the Giants, we had of course we had the COVID situation with Will Hernandez. Turned out that, players that were isolated would be Nick Gates, Andrew Thomas, Cam Fleming, Shane Lemieux, Chad Slade, Spencer Pulley, Benjamin Victor, and the outside linebacker coach and the defensive back coach. They were all sent into quarantine. We don't know what's going to happen yet on Monday. The good news is the game is on Monday, and I think, from that perspective, we'll get a lot more testing done to see if we have any spread or if it's been contained. I am concerned. I know the Giants worked out some offensive linemen the other day. I am concerned with the fact that it's not going to, it's not going to. The Tampa Bay Bucks have a good defense, and it's not going to be a good picture if we go in there with even a worse line than we already have. So we're going to get more into the Tampa game probably on Sunday. I'm going to try to do a live stream or do a show with Brooklyn Hit Squad before then. Also on the trade front, everyone's talking about the wide receiver for the Lions. It's not happening. The Giants had a cursory conversation with with Detroit, and it was just a conversation. I mean, the Bears. Why do I keep thinking the Bears? Oh, because I get the Bears up on the screen. The Lions are 3-3. Matt Patricia is fighting for his job in a playoff spot. You think they're going to take one of Matthew Stafford's weapons and start off to the side and trade it to the Giants? And the dude is an unrestricted free agent next year. So we're going to pull another Leonard Williams where we're going to trade draft assets for an unrestricted free agent? I hope not. I hope we're not that stupid. But it's hard to say because we've done some stupid shit. We've done some stuff we've done some head scratchers with Dave Gettleman. My favorite one is still, we did not sign him to trade him. And I think he went to Cleveland. I'm not sure. So, I mean, I don't know. It's, it's funny. It's tough being a Giants fan. I've been a Giants fan going back to 76. And we had some bad teams in the 70s and the early 80s. We had some bad teams even in the late 90s, early 2000s. And there was some interesting moves then. But I tell you, these last 3 years or so, it really takes the cake. It really presses your ability to root for the team because sometimes you're just like, I don't know what the hell you were thinking when you did that. I still don't get the Leonard Williams. I mean, I understood the Leonard Williams dude, but I still don't understand giving up the draft assets for that guy when it turned out for most people in the league said the Giants were competing against themselves to get Leonard Williams. I thought that was great. That was a great line. Someone told me that after the Leonard Williams trade. It's like the Giants were just competing against themselves. And then it even goes back to the Doug Peterson thing. I've told this story a couple times. I had a friend that worked for the Eagles, and I was laughing because I was like, "We got McAdoo. You guys suck. You wanted him. We got him." And I loved it because he looked at me and he said, and I didn't tell this story till after he left, but after the organization, he looked at me and he said, "We never wanted McAdoo. Peterson was our guy for the entire time." He goes, "We were laughing that the Giants were thinking that we wanted McAdoo and we were competing against ourselves. They basically had Peterson locked up." And everyone in New York was like, "They want McAdoo and we got him." And I was like, "Well, how did that one work out?" I mean, yeah, McAdoo looked like a genius at 11-5 season when Peterson floundered a little bit his year one, and then he turned out to win a Super Bowl. I think a lot of that has to do with the GM more than Peterson. But Peterson, man, I can't stand Peterson, but he's a good coach. He's not a bad coach. He's a really good coach. He gets the most out of his talent. And every time you think the Eagles are out of it, somehow they just keep roaring back. And and that has to go to credit to the Eagles and their staff from the top to the bottom. And I hate to say that because I hate the Eagles. I hate them. Yes, I live 40 minutes outside of Philadelphia, depending on traffic. But I can't stand the Eagles. I like the Sixers. Like I said, I've told people I'm a quasi-Sixers fan. I've been going to Sixers games for the last 9 years. We got seats on the court side, behind the bench, behind the visitor bench. So it's those games are fun. Like I said, I've kind of grown to like. I'm still a Knicks fan, and it's weird to say I'm a Knicks fan and a Sixers fan, but I'm still a Knicks fan. And I'll always be a Knicks fan because I've been a Knicks fan since I can remember. I have a picture of me standing next to Walt Frazier holding a basketball when I was a kid when they did Pitcher Day on the court, which was kind of cool. So, but we just kind of ran off topic there. We're going to try to do a show with the Brooklyn Hit Squad coming up maybe this weekend. Yes, and I know there have been rumors about potentially a stream or something with the Bad Dog. Those are not rumors. That is being looked into. Once information, I think, it's one of those things that the planets have to align and schedules have to align. But you know what? Hopefully we'll try to do something before the end of the season so you can stop sending me emails about it and putting messages on the board. I'm just joking. I don't care about I like reading the emails. Emails are fun. I enjoy, and again, if you want to email me, it's onlineBigBlue@gmail.com. I do try to respond as quickly as possible. Sometimes it takes me a little bit while. And if I don't get to your, just to let you know, I do read 99.9% of all messages. Our comments. Just sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to respond than it probably should. A lot going on like everyone else in the world. So, but again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could subscribe, if you could subscribe, before you that bell, I think you know what that means. That'd be awesome.